All right, everybody, welcome back, man. Today we got something a little different going on. Today we are picking up our motor for the MR2, man. As you guys know, in the last video, we are K-swapping this MR2 before we dive back into the Evo and sleeve the motor, just so we have a super reliable back and forth daily on the side as that's happening. Super pumped about it. Already ordered my motor. Next will be transmission and then getting all the small components. So we're gonna go pick up the motor. I will talk today about what we're gonna be doing right at the gate when it's outside of the car, what we're gonna be changing out, what we need to change out, things like that. So you guys will be getting updated with all that information of what we'll be doing in the short future. Transmission should be next week. And then right beyond that, we'll be getting our hooks racing and all the setups and talk about the wiring harnesses and all the rest of that stuff for the MR2. So stay up on that. But we're gonna go ahead and jump past these cars because we actually did send this thing up to Boost Lab, okay? So you also had to pay for shipping regardless, and then Boost Lab, or if I didn't send it to a business, they were trying to charge me an extra 90 bucks to send it to my house. So forget that. Let's get it to Boost Lab. All right, and we are already back, man. I went ahead and jumped ahead. Didn't want to bother you guys with the drive. Boom, there it is, man. This motor, that car, happening very soon. As you can see, we have it here. I got to go ahead and get it down though, so we can strip this thing down and show it out. And we can actually see the exact motor that we decided to go with. So let me go ahead and source some people to be able to get this thing down and out and get inside the garage. All right, boom. Richard, thank you so much for helping me get this motor back in the garage over here. As you guys can see, we got it off the pallet already, up on the engine stand. This is it, man. This is the motor, man. This is a JDM imported K24A3. Comes out of the Accord Euro over there in Japan or whatever country this came from. This is the ones that's supposed to have like 50 to 65,000 miles. As you can see, everything is like extraordinarily clean. I mean, like, it's ridiculous, man. I'm super pumped about it. The entire harness is on this. We won't be reusing it, but it is good to know that like it was just literally unplugged, pulled out, and this is this. No leaks anywhere. Thank God the engine or the oil pan is not like dented in, so it sometimes can get on these junkyard style motors. It does have the small warranty for starting up and all that good stuff. But this is it, man. K2483, low miles. This is essentially the exact same thing as a TSX motor here in America. There may be a slight variation I don't know about, but I tried to read as much as possible and couldn't find anything. As you can see way deep in there, this is the, if you can't, this is an RBB4 head. So I couldn't figure out exactly, by the way, comment in the section below if you guys do know exactly why. I was basically reading that the different years come with different numbers. So it'd be RBB 1, 2, 3, and this is a 2008 motor. So last year they went from 04 to 08 with the TSX motors like this before they changed versions. And this is an 08, so it's marked 4 on the head. So tell me if you know any different. But let's go ahead and go over exactly what we're gonna do to this motor in preparation before we can even get into the car, and then we'll talk about all the parts and everything we need to do to match it up to the MR2 and make it work. So let's get in it. All right, man, so now let's talk about some things we're gonna be swapping out here. First things first is let's talk about the harness, the actual engine harness. Again, this one has the original stock one on here, but this will not work. This is too new of a version. We'll be getting the K-Pro V4 computer system, and you need to get they don't make a new version of it, so you'll have to get the old school harness to work on this motor, which is no problem. I'm actually gonna take the 2002 to 2004 RSX harness. Now, mind you, Hux Racing actually told me this could be a base model, it could be an automatic, it doesn't matter. He's gonna actually take that harness, take the MR2 body harness, and he'll integrate those together so you can just put that back in the body, plug this right into the motor, and it'll be good to go. A couple things will get swapped out to make that work. So thus far, this is what I know. There might be a couple of things that might sneak up on me, but I knew you do need to change the crank sensor. Crank sensor has a different plug. You'll be having to change that out to a K20 crank sensor using that different harness. I did find a K24, K20 adapter harness, which actually is for that crank sensor that goes from plug to plug. I'll have to double check with Hux Racing and make sure that will be good to go, but if not, I'll be doing a K20 crank sensor. Also, jumping over to the throttle body, this is currently an electric throttle body that you cannot use with the cable-driven style car. So you'll need to get a 2002, 2004 style cable-driven throttle body we'll be putting on there. Also, jumping over here to the AC and power steering, we'll be getting rid of this, man. There's a couple different companies that make this, but we're doing the AC power steering delete kit. K-Tune, I do believe, makes one, but they're out of stock right now, at least, when I'm going to be buying one. So I might be going with a company, I think it's called Kswap or Car Concepts. I might put it in the corner here so you guys actually know the name I'm getting. But it's a super nice kit. It's essentially the exact same thing. And I'll be deleting the AC and power steering off of this. All right, so the one more thing that we'll definitely be upgrading. This is not needed, mind you. I'm just going to be doing this while the motor's out. We'll be tuning this NA, so I do want a little more revving capability if possible, right? It's already out here, so let's go ahead and get it done. These K24s and the TSXs rev 7,000 RPM naturally, and you can't really go too much higher because of the oil pumps. The oil pumps end up getting issues, so a lot of people end up upgrading these to the RSX Type S oil pump, and then you can rev it to, I think, 8,000 RPM. I'm not sure on the capability of this actual motor, what's safe to rev without valve spring and retainer upgrade. I would think 8,000 RPM would kind of be the limitation to it. But regardless, since this will be a big built motor eventually, and we're going to spend a couple $100 on the oil pump, 4 Pistons Racing, who will be doing most of our motor work, or at least that's the plan in the future, they actually offer a port and polished, I'm sure it's polished, but it's at least ported. It's a ported oil pump, and those can rev up to 9,000 RPM all day. And on race applications, I think that on the website it said 11,000 RPM. So that will suffice all the way through the life of this motor, hopefully. And since it's such a close range of price, there's no reason not to get that. So 4 Pistons oil pump will be getting installed on this thing. All right, so now that we know some of the components getting swapped out on this engine before we even install it, next thing it would be is the actual transmission going on the end here. So EP3 transmission has pretty much been our goal this whole time. I'm fighting myself a little bit. The EP3 is that 5-speed transmission, definitely better for boost, staying in gears longer. But it's not going to be boosted day one. It's going to be NA, man. So I'm kind of fighting myself thinking, do I do an RSX Type S 6-speed transmission, have a little more fun or a little better gear set with that for this time, or do the EP3? But I think I'm really leaning towards the EP3 because, as you guys know, I do not like to waste money twice. And let's say 6 months, a year from now, I'm already thinking about boost on this engine. I mean, what am I going to do? Go back and try to sell that trans and get a new one? So we're going to probably jump right into the EP3 game. All right, so now let's talk about what we're getting from Hux Racing. Right at the gate, as I mentioned earlier, we are taking the engine harness off of this and getting the 0204 engine harness so we can get the Honda or the K-Pro V4 working with this system. You do need the old school harness just because they don't make a new version for it yet. So we'll be doing that, actually taking the body harness off of the MR2, sending those into Hux Racing, and they're going to be integrating them together so they can work no problem on there. Only thing that will not be working is the speedometer, because the speedometer on the 91, 92s are cable driven on the MR2s, so that's a bit of an issue. Not really, because I'll explain in a second what we'll be doing to make that still happen and actually be able to get some vision on that. But RPM and all the other stuff and oil pressure lights and all that will still work no problem, plug and play. So we'll be good to go day one, even to get a tune. On top of them doing the wiring service for us, they'll also be providing us the motor mounts. It is a 4-system motor mount kit. It is the 78 poly mounts that we're going to be going with. You can get those ones or the solid ones. I definitely want a little more comfortability. Being 4 motor mounts, talked to him on the phone, and he said, hey man, even at your power level, I would just go with the 70As. You're going to definitely like those, and those will suffice completely fine. So we'll be getting those ones. It also sells a separate bolt kit so you can hook up everything and get connected. We'll be getting a clutch line. We'll be getting the new throttle body cable bracket that actually goes to the Honda throttle body, which again will be changing out from the electric to the cable driven one soon. He actually makes one that plugs and plays for that as well. And we'll be in the shift cable bracket to connect the transmission to the MR2 over there on the Honda motor. So it takes it, basically flips it reverse style, and you run the cables backwards. That will be all explained when we actually do the install of this. All right, so now we know all our stuff that we're going to need from Hux Racing. Leaving off with that shift cable bracket that goes reverse style, we will need shift cables. So we did reach out to Hybrid Racing, and we're going to be getting our shift cables and our shift box for this. So the actual box that cables connect to. So first off, the actual cables that they have are like Super Ball or billet fittings on the ends, like super nice. So those are the exact ones we're going to be going with from an RSX Type S. We are doing the EP3 transmission, but Kendall out there at Hybrid Racing told me the EP3 ones are actually a little bit shorter than the RSX ones, and with the MR2 swap that I'm trying to do, he recommended getting the ones with a little more length so I won't have an issue. So thank you for that advice. RSX Type S cables. Also, we're going to do the RSX Type S or RSX shift box as well. As you can see right here, here's the red one, here's the black one, man. Those are what they look like. I kind of like the black because how sleek it is, but I'm almost like digging the red as well with that little bit of a pop to it. So right now I'm going to put something in the corner so you guys can vote. Vote for it, man. Do you guys like the red? Do you like the black? I'm going to highly consider your votes when I go ahead and order this, because this will be still a couple weeks out before I order that. So pick it up and let's see what you guys think. Next and last thing though, after we are done talking about the engine and everything we're doing to put this in the MR2, is the speedometer issue. So as I told you, the speedometer is cable driven in this old 91, 92 style car. It's a 91, but in these years, the newer ones, I guess, might be different. I'm not 100%, but regardless, we're gonna need to get speed on this. Day one, again, we don't need it because if the speedometer works regular as far as the RPMs and everything, we can get it tuned. I won't have an issue with that. It will have the K-Pro V4 all connected to this. So that being said, it is connected to the harness that's connected to the motor. So all the information is there. We just got to get it to the dash. So we're actually reaching out. We're going to get a digital dash. We're going to do a AIM dash, AIM dash. This is the actual one you guys see right here. Super baller, man. It has tons and tons of features, has shift lights you can put in any different colors all the way up, and we're definitely going to go over that completely, and you'll be seeing that get installed, as well as jumping on is really cool. It just has a USB I can put right in the car, and I got my laptop in the car, and I can change everything out with colors and different features and what I want on the screen and how I want my RPMs displayed and all that. So super excited. That's how we're going to get that fixed on that car, and that is that. Boom, man, that's it, man. Engine is here. We got the engine here. We'll strip it down next, do some more things. You'll be seeing all those installs of the oil pump and all that get done actually right here in the garage, so stay tuned for all of that, as well as all these other things when I get these throughout the weeks and we get new components. I'll be showing you guys, talking about it, all that good stuff. You'll show you how to install everything top to bottom as I promised. To do this MR2, we'll get it tuned, have tons of fun, and then we'll dive right back into the Evo and get this thing knocked out, which you'll be actually seeing some DIYs getting done in the Evo soon, so some small things, and a race coming very soon, and in between that, the MR2, man. So thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, all that good stuff, man. Keep it up. Appreciate it very much. We'll see you in the next video.
Yeah.